Please stand for the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Duff.
Here.
Dumont. Giramini.
Present.
Malik.
Here.
McDutt.
Here.
Nedra.
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
I make a motion that we excuse Councilman Dumont, as he previously stated he was not going to be here.
Yep, you sent me a text to remind me today, so.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Giramini. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Do we have any additional business? Correspondence and information. Oh, yeah. I'm going to play through that. Approval of the agenda. It's going to be one of those nights. See you right now. Motion by Duff. Second by O'Brien to approve the agenda as stated. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. On that. Now we're on to correspondence. And we got notice from Oakland County that they will be testing Nantucket Beach for July.
Before we jump to the next communication, just to let everyone know, we did get word late this afternoon from the county that they have done their initial round of testing, and as of this afternoon, the beach is closed.
Which
For
beach?
Nantucket Beach. For high levels of E. coli, they will continue to test daily, and as soon as the beach levels are down, the beach will be able to be open. If they have any rainfall,
Hot weather.
it's going to be.
Angies. Okay. Yeah,
Have you got correspondence yet?
that's where we're at.
Okay, I'd like to add something after you.
Okay. And we just had a couple other little things from Oakland County, but there's an upcoming Veterans Resource Fair, a couple of them. The last one is going to be June 30th. The first one has already passed.
Well, I wanted to add one thing for those of you that are longtime village residents. Pearl Donahue passed away on Monday. She was in her early 90s, and her husband Jim, as Mr. McNutt knows, was involved with his father-in-law for years on
He was on the
projects on the
board,
lake
I was on
and
the
different
board,
things.
yeah.
And I just wanted to pass that on. I know viewing is going to be Friday from, I believe, 3 to 7 or 3 to 8 in town, okay, at Bird. Lynch and Son, now it's close. and it's a private burial on Saturday. But I just thought I'd bring that up to those of you that didn't know.
Yeah, thanks.
And Jim actually, so that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. First call to public. I guess this would be an opportunity for citizens to address council on agenda items only. Seeing anybody who wish to speak? Seeing none, we'll bypass the first call and move on to consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Malik. Any discussion on that? Roll call vote, please.
Giramini.
Yes.
McDutt.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Nedra.
Yes.
Duff.
Yes.
Malik.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to board appointments. Recommendation by council appoint Gabriel Mack to the Parks and Rec Board for a 3-year term expiring 12/31 of 2023.
Mr. Mack, I believe, is here.
Yes.
Does any of you have any questions for him?
Just got stuff.
There's a copy of this application at the table.
Motion to approve Gabriel Mack, Parks and Rec for 3 years.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Jeremy. Any discussion? Mark?
He came to our last meeting, made a real good impression, made an even better impression when he showed up right early for the 5K, and was a great help there, and worked really well with Cody, walking way out there and directing runners and making sure everybody got in okay and everything. So we're really excited to have him and looking forward to his contributions to everything.
Great. Super. Well, with that, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Knott,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Pedro,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And thanks for stepping up. Sure, absolutely. Sign them up quick.
Let him get away. Do we have the handheld mic?
I do. Of course I do.
Gary, you want to step up here, please? Nice to meet you. Thanks for stepping forward. I'm going to read a couple things to you. Just take your time, and hopefully you're going to swear or affirm at the end, and then you'll be official. Okay? All right. So, state your name for us, please.
Gabriel Mack.
And if you could repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of Parks and Recreation Board
the duties of Parks and Recreation Board
in and for
in order for,
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
Village of Wolverine Lake,
County of Oakland,
the County of Oakland,
and State of Michigan,
and State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Yep. Thanks very much. Yes, yep, that was me. Yep. Okay, yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Thanks again. Okay, and then we have a recommendation to appoint Patrick Brzezowski to the ZBA for 3-year term expiring 12/31 of 2024. Let's see.
I don't believe Mr. Brzezowski's here,
But
but
Mark?
I'll make the motion to approve Patrick for the ZBA for a 3-year term.
Motion by Duff,
second.
second by O'Brien.
So Patrick came to us. His resume is quite impressive, actually. He did quite a bit in terms of being a code enforcement officer or manager, and has worked in South Lyon on the planning and zoning, or as a planning and zoning administrator. Again, has lots of experience and should be a really good add to the board.
Great. Any other discussion? Okay, let's get a roll call vote on that one, too, please.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
And I guess we'll just have to get him signed up later.
Yeah, we'll reach out to Patrick, we'll get him into the village hall, we'll get him sworn in, so he'll be ready to go for the, this month's zoning board meeting.
Mr. Powell's up. Moving on, recommendation updates from Engineer Powell. Got a lot of money to spend on grinder pumps.
That's correct. If you read my letter where the price of grinder pumps virtually went up $2,000 a piece. And this bothered me and then also the engineers for Commerce Township. We use the same supplier for the pumps that Commerce Township does, and it's worked out very well because Commerce stores our pumps for us at the at the Commerce treatment plant. So when I informed Commerce Township what the new pumps are going to cost, they had an internal discussion that they believe they need to go out for bids for different supplier. And I totally agree. The engineers and the Commerce Township engineers and I, however, have a problem in coordinating that right now because we have only 10 pumps in stock. We have 7 that are spoken for, and we have 40 other homes that have signed up for the SAD. And so we need to have some supply to be able to install those pumps
prior to us running out of stock. So Commerce Township and I have been evaluating 2 different suppliers in the state. One out of Waterford, and it's a relatively new pump that doesn't have the history to be able to maybe support a sanitary sewer system as large as the village's. The other supplier is the supplier that the village used to use, called Barnes Pumps. And about 15 years ago, we changed from Barnes Pumps to Environmental One Pumps because Barnes Pumps decided to increase their rates almost double back then. And so Environmental One came in and undercut the bids by a couple $1,000s. And now E1, Environmental One, has done the same thing. And I was in touch with Barnes Pumps and their supplier. Their supplier is in Lyon Township. And they are going to put together an estimate for Commerce Township and the village as to what they can sell pumps to us for. Commerce engineers and myself as well, we don't want to come to you as council and say, let's go out for bids on new pumps if in fact there's only $100 difference between the two. It just wouldn't make any sense. If it's $1,000 savings per resident that wants to connect, that then is a huge difference, and we would suggest that we go out for bids and obtain different pumps. I have confirmed that Oakland County Water Resource Commission, that does the operation and maintenance of our system, does approve the Barnes pumps, so we don't have that issue. So it's really just a dollar issue. The pumps themselves are very, very good, and various communities, I know White Lake uses the Barnes pumps, West Bloomfield uses the Barnes pumps, and then there are 4 or 5 communities in the western part of Oakland County that use the Environmental One pumps, as the village does. So the problem is, logistically, we have to have some pumps in stock in order to install them for our residents. We have 2 problems. Number one, not only did the price of each pump go up by $2,000, but in order to receive any new pumps, it's a 26-week wait. So it's a half a year to wait for new pumps. We will be out of stock for those pumps before we're even able to get new ones from Environmental One. That being said, Commerce Township has stepped up. They just ordered a full truckload, 49 pumps, at the end of the year. They have enough left to offer the village to get us through the need until another truckload comes in, as long as we are able to reimburse them the pumps that we use. So number one, we're going to certainly have to increase the price to every new resident that's applied for a sewer connection to cover the cost of the new pumps, but at least Commerce Township is covering our shortage. So that being said, I don't believe we have an option. We really need to obtain enough pumps to get us through for the next 6 months. In the meantime, if we are able to consider the Barnes pumps or a different supplier at a substantial savings, I will plan on coming back to you or working with the administration and go out for formal bids so that we can present to you at next month possibility of using a different pump. They're the same quality, and again, we've covered all those bases. It's just a matter of we're being caught in Commerce Township. We're both being caught in a spot where we can't get pumps at a relatively low price in a relatively quick time. So unfortunately, I'm recommending that council authorize the purchase of a truckload of pumps. That's 49 pumps at $323,674, so that we can reimburse Commerce Township for the pumps that we're going to be using in the next 6 months from them.
So Mike, the other pumps you were talking about, is there a timetable on how long it takes to get them?
Don't know yet,
Right.
so I don't know the price, and I don't know what their order time is. They're putting together a proposal to both Commerce Township and the village so that we can answer that, and I'll be presenting that to Mr. Gillum and Treasurer Hanson. That sounds like a nice title, Jennifer. So that we can then go out for formal bids and have something a little more concrete for you to decide on next month.
Okay. So you're suggesting we get this truckload coming now, though?
Yes, because we have no idea, and let's put it this way, if the other pumps are $1,000 less and we can get them in 30 days, we can put a stop on this because it's 26 weeks out.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
So, but again, we'll be able to make those decisions and make recommendations to you guys in July.
Will there be a penalty if you did cancel?
So far, there's not been a penalty. What Commerce Township and I are hoping is that the threat of going out for bids will shake some reality into Environmental One, and they might say, okay, we'll match the price of what the Barnes pumps are offering. That's what we're hoping, so we don't have any changes.
One other thing, if the Environmental One pumps, you said Commerce has 49 of them or something?
Well, they just received a truckload at the end of the year, but they've used 10 or 12 already.
So they got 25 just for a number.
Correct.
If you end up going to the Barnes pump, they don't have a problem replacing the Environmental ones with the Barnes?
No, because I will recommend that whatever Commerce and the village should make the same decision.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to recommend.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I guess we have to ask the question, Ms. Treasurer. Do we have the funds to make that happen? I know it's reimbursement as it's, sold to the people cooking in the system.
That's correct, and we do have the funds available.
We do have the funds. Do we have to transfer funds of some sort?
This would be an expense borne by the water fund, and as such, there are ample cash resources in it. It's not really, I don't want to get into accounting esoterica, but we're really converting one asset to another. We're taking cash and we're going to be running an inventory now. So if somebody comes in, let's say they're not part of the SAD and they want to hook up, they're going to pay us for the grinder pump, it comes out of inventory, comes into revenue. So I hope you can follow that. It's just because the water fund is an enterprise fund, that's how you look things there.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we cover what we want to do here, if we decide to do that.
Yep. Shouldn't be a problem.
So I guess I'll make a motion that we go ahead with the recommendation from Engineer Powell to purchase the, what was it, 49?
Correct.
49 grinder pumps at $323,674.
I second that.
Okay, motion by Duff, second by Mallett. Any other discussion?
Michael, in your conversation with the Barnes,
Yes.
did you get any feel as to what their thought was, or were they excited to hear that we want a bid from them?
Oh, they definitely were, and they would like to make a presentation to Commerce Engineers and myself to show us the improvements of those pumps over the last 10, 15 years. And they were very pleased that we showed interest in them. We are not going to leave the other pump manufacturer out either. It's a smaller company out of Ohio, and they're called Keene Pumps. So Commerce Township and myself, we have to do some research on that. Certainly, I would expect to get a bid from them, because this isn't going to be a closed bid. We will offer it to any manufacturer, and then we'll decide price and quality of those pumps to present to you.
Delivery.
And delivery dates, correct.
Thank you.
And where do the E-pumps come from? E1?
The E1 pumps are made, I think, in Iowa, and our distributor is down in Ypsilanti.
Okay.
So we have a great source here locally for the distribution, and they are very concerned about the high prices in the E1 pumps as well. So it's going to be interesting. After tonight's meeting, I will be on the phone to E1 pumps and say, do you really want us to go out for bids? Or do you want to get real?
Okay. Hopefully that's a delivered price.
Yes.
Okay, with that, I guess we have a roll call vote.
Pedro,
Yes.
Duff,
Yeah.
Alec,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Okay, then second up is control boxes for drainer pumps with the generator receptacles.
That's correct. Now, we receive a control box with every station. So every station we have in stock and every station that Commerce has in stock has a control panel that comes with it. It also comes with a standard 50-foot length of control cable to be able to energize it. As you can well imagine, due to some of the locations where we have to have the control panel versus the grinder pump, sometimes we need longer cables than that. So we have standard cables that are 50 feet. We have leftover or extra 75-foot cables and 100-foot cables. We have 100-foot cables, but we're out of 75-foot cables, and so I'm asking council to authorize us to pick up 5 additional 75-foot supply cables. Now, the control panels that I'm requesting are special in that they are set up with a transfer switch and a receptacle in it, so that a resident can connect their generator directly to it if the electricity's out. As I point out to each resident that I meet with, if their electricity's out, most of the people in the village are on wells, so they can't produce water, so they really don't need a receptacle. If they're going to generate power for their well, then they'll have enough power in their home to be able to generate for the grinder pump as well. However, those that live on the lake, I grew up on Union Lake, and I was the gopher. When electricity went out, I would have to bring pails of water in, and that then generates water that's used not from the well, but for the bathrooms. If that's the case, or if they're on city water, village water, then they have an option that they can get this special grinder pump control panel, and it's normally just a couple $100 more. I think it's $340 more, so $390 more. But Environmental One has now almost tripled the price of that. And so really only about 1 in 20 request that option. We normally keep 5 of those in stock. We only have 1 left, but with a $971 fee, I don't expect many people. You can almost buy a generator for that instead of just having this grinder pump control panel. And I think I'm just recommending that we should probably have 2 on hand. And so I'm recommending that even though the quote that I showed you came in for 5, I'm suggesting that we don't have any more than order 2. That'll give us 3 total with the current one that I have in stock as well. So I'm suggesting to at least allow the residents to have that option, that we should have a couple in stock. So I'm suggesting 2 at $971 for a total price for the control panels and the supply cables of $2,606.
Sorry, 2650.
$2,606.
Michael, question. Yeah, let's say that you end up with more than 3 people that want these control panels. What is the lead time if you have to get them? More?
Unfortunately, the lead time is 8 weeks. So and that's why I just can't order them like I used to be able to do. So that's why I want to have them in stock.
For the people that have already hooked up, how many have had this hookup for the generator?
Yeah, and that's why I said about 1 in 20 ask for the generator.
So if we got 40 people, we might need 2. You're having a 3rd one. Okay, thank you.
So you want us to order 2 of those?
Just 2, not
So that
5
would-
as
yeah.
the quote shows.
Well, your quote on the front page of 2606 is for 1.
Be 2 of the 2 of the control panels and 5 of the
Oh, yes.
5-foot leads.
Thank you, you're right. That's just-
3577.
Thank you, Mark, for doing that math quickly for me. So I'm just looking to purchase 1, and that'll give me 2 in stock. Correct.
So the 2606 is still good.
Yes, that number's still good.
Okay. Any other questions? Motion by Duff, second by Mr. O'Brien. Any more discussion? If that, roll call vote, please.
Duff,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
McDutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow.
Yes. Mr. Powell, anything else
Yes,
besides paving?
I'd certainly like to bring the council up to date on the two things. Number 1, they're going to be starting construction on the entrance drive to the Hickory Glen Park across the street here before the next council meeting. They're doing their surveying right now, and you'll start seeing some trees come down for that entrance drive. So I would expect in the next couple months that entrance drive will be completed. And I just wanted to let council know that not to be surprised if you see machinery out here and paving going on across the street from the township entrance. That will greatly assist in controlling the traffic in the park across the street. So that's number 1. And number 2, the paving program has started in the south part of the village. The contractor has been out there since Monday, grinding the roads up. We hand-delivered memos to every resident where they're working right now. The rest of the residents on the south side will have theirs tomorrow. And letting them know the process, what the timing is going to be, letting them know that as they pave, they're going to be able to drive on the roads. They'll be held up for 5-10 minutes, something like that. They can't drive on the roads until they're at least compacted. Once the paver goes by, that pavement's still fairly loose, and they'll leave big rut lines in that pavement. So as soon as the compactors go by, the contractors will let people leave. My notice to them says if you have an emergency coming up, or you know you have a medical an appointment that needs to be kept, then let's make arrangements to park your car away from the area a little bit. You may have to walk a little ways just to get your car, but at least you won't be late for your medical appointment or miss it. So we're trying to coordinate. We've had, as you can well imagine, we've had 1 or 2 calls concerned about the traffic getting in and out, medical things. We're working with them. People have been very, very patient. And the contractor expects to start paving on Monday. So we've been working on shaping the roads, and I wanted to also let council know that the village administration, the police department, the DPW, and my office have been working very closely together, and it's a very, very smooth operating team here for the village. And the contractor appreciates that, and we appreciate the contractor being as professional as they are as well. So unless you had any other questions, you'll kind of see if you drive back in there, and you're allowed to drive through there. The internal roads are all being done first, because as you're driving the loaded trucks of asphalt to get to the internal roads, you don't want the external roads all done. You don't want to mar up those newly paved roads. So you're starting internally and you're working outward from there. So the Wolverine Drive, Dunreath, Brushwood, and Penny Lake are all going to be done after the internal roads being done. And then we're also coordinating to make sure that the Clare Miller Park is not shut down over weekends. So they're going to do everything Monday through Friday in 1 week is the plan. And if you've been by there, the DPW has prepped the 4 additional parking spaces on Wakedo for the tennis court, pickleball courts. So we're adding 4 new spaces there. And so the team is working very well for you, and I appreciate everybody's patience.
Great. Any questions?
Just one comment to follow up on what Mr. Powell has said. You know, we have been working closely with ASI, with the contractor. As I understand, they're having some problems getting some traffic control signage from their supplier, but we are staying on them to get the signage. Hopefully we'll get all the appropriate signage up as quickly as we can. The other comment I would make for any of the residents over on Meadow, I'm aware that there was an issue with the school bus on Monday, and the school bus was delayed. The kids were late getting to school. I talked with staff over at the transportation garage within the school district, and also followed up with the contractor. The school gets out on Friday, so we only have a couple more days to work through, but hopefully everybody's on the same page, and I encourage the contractor to do whatever they can to get the buses in and out of the construction zone as quickly as they can so we can get the kids to school. And again, to echo Mike's comments, I know this is an inconvenience, but it's, in the long run, it's a good thing, and we appreciate everyone's patience.
So I do really want to share something because it was so interesting. I had a call today from a very nice elderly lady, obviously from the old country, and she said that she lived through the Underground Railroad when she was younger, and she was more scared today than she remembered being scared back then, because the compactor that is doing the compacting for the road base and everything vibrates a little bit, and she could feel the vibration in her house, and she called me. She was all upset, so we were able to calm her down and say everything's going to be fine, you're not back on the railroad or anything like that. But it was so interesting hearing her story, and kind of calming her fears down a little bit, and very, very nice lady that I enjoyed talking to today.
Never know.
Our goodwill ambassador.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Next we'll move on to public hearing for 22-23 budget. This time, I guess we'll open the public hearing. Anybody would like to speak? Seeing none? I guess we'll close the public hearing. And with that, we'll move on to new business, which is number A there, or letter A, approval of fiscal year 22-23 budget and related items. First, we need a motion to adopt the proposed budget.
Motion.
Fiscal 22-23. There's a motion by Duff, second by O'Brien. Any discussion on that? Roll call vote, please.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow.
Yes. And then we need a motion on this. Approval of the, yep,
Yes, please.
approval of the appropriations resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Malik. Any discussion on that? Roll call vote on that, please.
Malik,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff.
Yes.
And third, we're establishing a millage rate for fiscal year 22-23, which is going to be the same rate it has been since, I believe, 1996? Is that correct? 9.573. So, your motion on that?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Duff, second by Malik. Any discussion on that? Roll call vote on that, please.
Duff,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
And then we have to set the tax collection fee, which is, I believe, what else?
Everyone has until the end of August to pay without penalty, and then a 2% penalty is imposed in the month of September, and thereafter it's a 0.5% per month, so we can't collect anymore, which is very good.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Motion by Duff. Second by... Second by Giovanni. All right. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Jeremy,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik.
Yes.
And then we need to approve waiver of tax penalty and interest for summer deferment.
Motion.
Motion by Jeremy. Second by, we'll give it to McNutt, was it? Bill? Give the bill.
What a point.
Yeah. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Pedro?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
And now we need a motion to direct the treasurer to add special assessment installments, delinquent special assessments and delinquent bills, excluding those paid prior to July 1st, 2022.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Malik. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Pedro?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Thank you. Almost difficult. So, more budget stuff. So, now that we've approved the budget, we need to go through and approve the budget amendments from prior year, which is where we're still at, right now, finishing up the end of this month. So, Mr. Condek and
Oh, you have attached to your memo there, a number of items, mostly salary, I think, related, just due to the fact that we have the premium pay for the year. In fact, we had 27 pay periods, which I didn't really account for to begin with, and that's where they mostly center. And then there are a couple of other ones, but at least they're outlined there with a descriptor.
the state shared revenue went up.
Yeah, remember that had to do with an adjustment that we got for our census data. We got an adjustment going back to 2010, which is when we saw an increase in population of several hundred people. That in turn is mostly due to Beechcrest and resulted in a nice increase for this year. But that's a
One-time shot.
It's not going to be elevated to that level forever.
Might have to wait another 10 years. So with that, it was pretty well spelled out, like it always is, Mr. Condit.
Motion to approve fiscal year 22 budget amendments.
Motion by Duff, second by Jeremy. And that was actually a net change in our fund balance by a decrease of $20,000, correct? $20,100. We decreased our fund balance by everything washed out, just for everybody in the public to know. So, with that, roll call vote, please.
Pedro?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Okay.
Just to acknowledge and thank Mr. Kendall and Ms. Hanson for all the work they did putting together the amendments to ramp up this year's budget and everything they did to put together the proposed budget for this year.
Absolutely.
It is an awful lot of work.
And I heard just before the meeting that they're still speaking. So.
And as a person that has to vote on this, thank you again, because you sure made our job easier.
Yeah, there is. So Mike always has done a fantastic job of presenting all this stuff. And I'm sure Jennifer, hopefully she's picked up all that. Incidentally, it's kind of nice sitting next to it. Not that I never did enjoy sitting next to you, but I can't complain now.
You better be nice, you have friends in the audience.
I'm sure you feel the same way sitting out there.
Yeah.
Closer to the golf game.
With that, we'll move on to Parks and Rec. Recommend council release budgeted funds for Tuesdays in the park.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Jeremy, and that was it was all budgeted. So, any discussion? At the first one, right?
Coming up Tuesday.
Coming up next Tuesday. That's right. So, any discussion?
I only have, how much is our release?
$400.
I'm sorry, 400?
400
Okay,
big
thank you.
ones. Okay, any other discussion? Roll call vote on that, please.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Pedro?
Yes. Okay, now we move on to resolution approving the renewal of municipal insurance coverage and risk management services by MML for a period of July 1, 22 to June 30th of 2023.
And I would just note as indicated in the memo that's in your packets, the rate we've been quoted for the upcoming year is is actually a decrease, 1.46% over the current fiscal year. Actually, the decrease would have been slightly more, but then the last police vehicle that we acquired bumped our insurance rates up just a little bit. And then also would note here too that the MML has a practice or a policy of returning some of their excess funds to its members. The method that they use to determine how much money you're going to get in any given year is based upon how long you've been a member of the pool. We've been a member of the pool for now for 30 years this year. And it's also based upon your claims record too. And we do have, generally speaking, a pretty good claims record. So with the renewal, again, as indicated, a little later on in the summer, we'll be getting a check back from the MML for a little over $3,700.
Great.
My father-in-law would say, he used to say that's better than a quote in the animal insurance.
Yep. Sure is, especially for insurance reasons. With that, I hear a motion to,
Second.
motion by Malik, second by Duff this time. Any discussion on that? That's to approve the renewal. Roll call vote, please.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
Jerry Meany,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Dedra,
Yes. Okay, move on to more spending money. Resolution approving the proposed police chief employment contract with John Ellsworth for a period of July 1st, 2022 through July 31 of 2024. So there's an extra month on there, so. And authorizing council president and village administrator clerk to execute the same on behalf of village.
Motion.
Motion by Duff. Second. Ooh, that was a tie. We'll go with the Malik this time. Any discussion?
Well, this is based upon discussions that the negotiating committee had with the chief. There are essentially premium pay bonuses retroactive for the last couple of years, which are roughly consistent with the premium pay bonuses that all the other members of the staff have gotten over the last couple of years. And then also wage increases for the next 2 full fiscal years.
Okay, with that, any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Malik,
Yes.
Jerry Meany,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Dedra,
Yes.
Duff.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hopefully we have a chief for 25 more months.
25 months. That's it. I'm telling you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, request from Police Chief Ellsworth to hire Kristen Slotski. It's full-time, it was full-time police officer for the village of Wolverine Lake. So
It
she
was
changed her
Beaudry.
name,
Yes,
yeah.
actually, she got married, so yes.
Congrats.
Her husband would have loved to have been here tonight, but he is currently working for the federal government, so so he couldn't be here tonight. For those of you that do remember Kristen Beaudry Skatsky, she worked for us for a little over 3 years. She left in 2020, and to use her words, the grass isn't always greener. And we had the opening, and she applied, and she nailed the interview. Me and Mr. Gillum sat down and talked to her for a bit, and again, I think many things, we hire good people. We don't hire necessarily good cops. We make them good cops, but we hire good people. And Kristen's good people. She's a village resident, which I don't know if she wants that out there or not, but it's out there now. She does care about the community, and we're very happy to have her back.
Great.
So,
Well, with that,
Motion.
Second.
motion by Duff, second by Malik. Any discussion?
Yeah, it's a proven point. Good people come back to good jobs.
I say it's a good boss.
You know. Okay, roll call vote.
I just want to ask one quick question. What's the plan then in the long run with, because this was originally going to be a part-time job and now it's going to full-time, so what is the long-term?
Long-term goal? I have 25 months left. No, actually, we're not sure. We're going to see how things progress, and see how things go, depending on many things. Obviously, the budget is going to be one of them. If we do end up promoting or not, we'll be promoting from within. As it stands right now, we're going to maintain status quo. So whether I make a change when I leave, or you guys decide, whoever takes my position, and if you want to promote from within, you're more than, obviously, you're more than welcome to kind of reconstruct. I don't want to make decisions for somebody else that does come in here, if they have better ideas or different ideas of what they want as far as command staff. I have Sergeant Marasco here behind me, and he's been my right-hand man through all this since the deputy chief left, and actually before. He did a good job for me there, and he does a lot of stuff. But as it stands right now, we're not sure what we're going to do as far as administratively, but Sergeant Marasco's kind of stepped up to the plate to help us out. I don't know that we're going to try to promote again. For right now, we're going to kind of wait and see how things level out. Unfortunately, and I guess now is as good a time as any to say it, we're going to be losing another officer by the end of the month. And so it's unfortunate, but we do have another officer we could hire that would fit in right away and be ready for us by Tiki Night if this does. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. He hasn't submitted his resignation. He has accepted another position with another department, leaving at the end of the month. So whether, like I say, we did interview two. It was a really close call. We want to be able to hire them both, but obviously, I can't put the cart before the horse. But knowing that we're losing another one, I would like to be able to replace him just as soon as possible. And that was a discussion me and Mr. Gillum have had already. We debated on whether to bring it before the council tonight, but again, we just want to make sure that we dot all the i's and cross all the t's. It's difficult, and I think the negotiating committee, we had good discussions on this. It's very difficult to hire somebody right now. There are a lot of places hiring, and obviously we're losing some of our good ones. It was a better fit for this person, and they accepted it, but as far as administrative for the police chief, sergeant, or if we promote from within, we don't know what we're going to do yet. We're going to try to get through this next year, and that's the way I look at it. Is this budget year is pretty much set. We're not planning on promoting somebody else right now, but that doesn't preclude us from doing that in the next, the following budget year. So we're a year away from doing anything like that, but that's something we're going to have to look at and see if it's viable for us to do.
We've been short-staffed really since Deputy Chief Wachowski retired, so now we're talking about with hiring of Ms. Skotsky, and then also potentially replacing the other officer, assuming the officer in fact does leave. That'll get us back up to full strength, and we're going to just kind of let things settle down, and the chief and I will have other discussions, and we'll make a decision going forward as to what's best for the department as to what's best for the village, and bring that recommendation.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else? Nope. Thanks. So we need to vote on this. All right. Roll call vote, please.
Jeremy?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Nedra?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Al?
Yes. Welcome back.
Thank you.
If I could, I'd like to administer the oath.
Absolutely.
Re-administer?
Re-administer, yeah.
Yeah, can you work midnight tonight? Just kidding. Not quite.
Let's see, what the job.
Oh, yeah? First, I think you've done this before.
Yes.
But I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. Repeat after me. State your name, please.
Kristen Skotsky.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I will faithfully perform
the duties of
the duties of
the office of full-time police officer
the office of full-time police officer
in and for
in and for
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
and State of Michigan,
and State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Another village employee that doesn't have to drive very far.
Thank you, sir.
Short commuters. Great, thanks.
Thank you.
And another police-related item, resolution approving the proposed amendment for intergovernmental police records management services agreement with the city of Wixom, authorizing village council president and village administrator to execute the same on behalf of the village. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Malik, second by Duff this time. Any discussion on that? And John, this is basically for our records?
Yeah, this is just it's an increase over the last couple of years we've had.
2%.
I kind of negotiated on our behalf. They wanted, I think, 3%, and I stomped my foot.
Eagle's tough, huh?
And I did. I said, no, 2%, and that's what they ended up going with. The same with the next one, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
John, they've been doing their records for quite a few years now, right?
2010.
Okay.
July of 2010, they took over our records. So yeah, for 12 years now.
Right.
They do a good job for us. I mean, we don't, last year, I don't know if you recall or not, Sergeant Morosco and Caroline Shave, the records clerk from Wixom, we got a letter from the state of Michigan praising them for their outstanding lien audits that they did, and they're tough. They come here and they go through all our records all day long, and they said that they were very impressed with the way they handled things, and it was a complete success. So we learned a lot. I know Sergeant Morosco has learned a lot through that, but Caroline has just been absolutely awesome over there. So we have no complaints regarding our records.
Okay. Well, I know in the past, anything Sergeant Morosco's been involved in, it's been a plus. And if it works, then I guess we stay with it.
Yeah, it works. Thank you.
So this is a one-year agreement, though?
Yeah.
The reason it's a one-year agreement is because Ron Moore, who's the Director of Public Safety over in Wixom, is retiring very soon. And he didn't want to lock his successor in the same kind of agreement.
So the new guy will drop the price, right?
We'll be having conversations for sure. So we're looking forward to seeing what happens over there. So it's going to be definitely an interesting change. They've announced a new chief over there, which is Phil Langmeyer. He's retired from Bloomfield Township as their public safety director. They did make a change in Wixom that's no longer going to be a public safety director. It's going to be just a police chief as well as a fire chief. So it's going to be a little different, but looking forward to the change, see what happens.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The only thing I would add is when I was doing legal work for the city of Wixom, I worked with Ms. Shea, the records department, and like the chief said, she is top-notch. That's going to be a big hit when she leaves over there in Wixom. So.
About less than a year.
Well, with that, roll call vote, I guess.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Landrum?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
And the next one is for our lockup. So it's a
This is going to be actually fairly simple.
It's a 3-year term, is it? Or the same one?
It's for
June,
1 year.
same
Again, it's for
Yep.
1 year.
Same reason.
And
Same reason.
they pretty much reduced our ability to lock anybody up locally to nil. So our costs have gone completely down. We used to budget, I think, $3,500 when we started out, and we used probably most of that, but now we'll be lucky if we touch $1,000 this year. The only time we do lock somebody up is for drunk driving or domestic, just about any. That's the only time we are able to do it anymore. So our costs are going to be really going down regarding that. So, and you know, we started out at $75 12 years ago. I don't think that's too big of an increase over 12 years. So.
The fact that we don't have lockup here in Wolverine Lake that we use also helps us in terms of our insurance as well. So
Yes.
it's one of the first questions that the MML asks when you're filling out the questionnaire in terms of what kind of services your police department either does or doesn't provide.
Okay, good. Well, with
Make a
that,
motion.
motion by Malik, second by
Second.
Mr. Bill O'Brien. So, any discussion? Roll call vote on that one.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Pedro?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Next is a resolution approving a 2% wage increase and 1% non-pensionable premium pay bonus for village treasurer and administrative assistants for fiscal year 2022 and 2023.
Motion.
So that, just to be clear, that's Mr. Condek, as we just hired Ms. Hanson here, and she's got a contract in place. So
Correct.
just wanted to make that clarification.
Mr. Connick, Ms. Linsenmeyer, and Ms. Knutson. Yes.
That was a motion by Duff.
Yep.
Second. Second by Mr. Malik. Any discussion on that? Roll call vote, please.
Pedro?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
And that adjustment will become effective as of July 1.
July 1, yeah.
The new fiscal year.
Next is a resolution approving proposed local road improvement matching fund cost participation agreement with Oakland County for 2022 and authorizing village administrator clerk to execute the same on behalf of the village. So that's basically also like a road grant, right?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
And we've been, the county has notified us that they will award us the maximum grant, which is $8,795 for this year, which we expect we will use to the cost of our crack sealing program.
Perfect.
Motion.
Motion by Duff.
Second.
Second by Mr. O'Brien. Discussion. Roll call vote.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Pedro?
Yes. And we are at the second call to the public, over an hour early. So, with all the stuff we've already covered, believe it or not. So with that, would anybody in the public like to speak? No. Seeing none, we'll bypass the second call. We can set the topics for the June 22nd work session, which I hope we don't have anything.
Motion to forego.
Do we have anything?
I have nothing.
Thank goodness, okay. I think we'll accept Mr. Duff's motion to forego.
Second.
Second by Mr. Malik. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries there. Pending business. I don't think we have any pending.
No. We're knocking them down.
With that, update from Police Chief Ellsworth.
Well, where do I start? Well, first of all, thank you guys very much for the confidence you showed in me and extending my contract a couple more years. I think I have 25 more good months left in me.
I think 26 or 27.
Well, I might live
22, I don't know.
Yeah, it might be 22, I don't know, you're right. And thank you also for letting us get Christian back. Officer Skotsky is going to be a good fit, especially when we're losing another one that's another good one. But he's going back home to his side, to the east side where he grew up, where he currently lives. He's been driving over an hour each way. I completely understand that, and I will never hold one of our officers back from trying to improve themselves. And this is going to improve his home life. It's going to be 2 less hours on the road. So we wish him all the best. And it's a shame, but we get it. He's put in, I think, 4 good years here with us, and he knows what he's missing. He knows what he's going to miss out on. But we're trying to keep him around at least till Tiki Night, but we'll see how that works out. Number 2 is I'll be headed to the Police Chiefs Conference here in a couple weeks, and I was hoping to take the new Dodge Durango up with that snazzy new logo I showed you guys all last council, and they sent me the price on it, and it won't be this snazzy new logo, because it's, instead of $1,500, it's $2,500 to get this done, and me and Mr. Gillum decided it's probably not worth it. It looks sharp, it's cool, but not worth $1,000 worth of village funds for that. So it will be back to the same logos as it was prior. Other than that, everybody needs to have a safe and happy and healthy Tiki Night. This will be the last time we see each other before then, probably. So, actually, it's getting together as a group anyways.
Chief,
yes.
I wanted to ask one question. Is there no negotiations with those people on that bid?
Well, I don't know.
No, it's very nice, you know.
It is very nice. I like the concept. And again, that was what they came back with. I asked her what the normal price would be for because I wanted to compare, because I know a lot of things have gone up. And she said as of the 2019 price for the Tahoe was $1,540 or something like this, and this was $2,450. So unless her numbers are wrong from 2019, I don't know that I could get them down enough to where it would be, you know. And I get that, and it doesn't even necessarily, it was an idea I had, and I don't feel bad burying it. I mean, it would look cool, and I think it would be an eye catcher, and it'd be something special for the village, but I don't know that we need to spend that.
Well,
and I understand what you're saying.
The reason I asked, my daughter has a graphics company, okay? And I'm not looking for her to bid it or anything else, but we talk about stuff, and I know they talk about the cost of the material and things.
Right.
And you know, $1,000 more for that, it just seems a little out of line.
We thought so too. We thought so too, and that's why we said, well, if that's the case, we're just going to drop it. Again, this was pretty much my design.
I understand.
But, and I will say this, I've used this company for 25 years, the same company. It was locally owned.
I'm aware of them.
But he sold the company.
Well,
So that might have something to do with it also. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of the business. I asked for a bid, they gave me the bid, and that's what, I'm not saying I can't go out and get other bids, but, you know, I'm kind of running out of time here to get this. It's getting built right now. We'll have it back on the 15th. I wanted to get it outfitted, or the graphics done, the 16th and 17th. Have it a few days before we took it north to the Chiefs Conference for the car show. So I'm on a very fine timeline. I guess, again, I don't know if you want me to go out and get bids for something similar to this, just to get an idea.
well, I would think that's up to council.
Well, that's why I asked.
No, I'm just saying, does it make sense? Do we like the concept of that?
Well, you're going to get basically you're planning on getting the same thing that we have on the other vehicles right now.
Currently, what I'm going to do as it stands, because this was going to be a one-off. This was not going to be a change for everything. It was just going to be a one-time deal. And like I said, for the $2,500, I don't know that it's, you know, I even kicked around trying to thought about getting a sponsor for the one graphics, but I don't know. rest of the graphics again, and it might be time to go out and do bids for our graphics, because it has been so long that we've used the same person. I know they did this, they did this a solid number for many, many years. I don't know what that is anymore, so I don't know how to compare it. So maybe we need to do that. It's
Well, you said they sold the company.
He did sell.
So right there's a reason to look. I mean, that's my thought, so.
Sure.
We got Mike Powell going out for bids on pumps and different things. and- I'm just
I
saying.
completely agree, and that was one of the things that me and Mr. Gillum, we didn't talk about going out for bids, but we did talk about the pros and cons and Mr. Rupp selling off the company. So I'm more than willing to go out and do that. Again, we're under the gun as far as timeline. Is there a number I don't know where we stand in the budget on this, because we're already up there with the car. Everything is so expensive nowadays.
Did they tell you when the vehicle will be in?
It will be done on the 15th of this month, but like I said,
7
I
days.
have until the 21st to have the vehicle all ready to go.
Right.
So I have a very short window from the 15th, I would drop it directly off.
Sure.
To get it drafted. So if we were to do something like that, I don't know, do you want to authorize a particular number to keep it under? I guess I don't, because again, I need to, I have to get it done before.
Yeah, well, you're against the wall as far as time goes.
Right.
Getting the vehicle, getting bids, getting it done.
Right.
So I can understand that, so.
So currently, you're planning on going with the,
Our current number that we have is
graphics
a
with the current number.
2019 number.
okay.
Keep that in mind.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So
And that's not going to be a solid number. That was an estimated, because she just quickly looked, as we were looking at doing this.
Right.
And so, but I don't see $1,000 improvement. I mean, it's nice and all, but
Yeah.
for that kind of money, I don't see that.
Well, I'm just curious
If I
to
could-
see what the heck the current
To me,
number's going to be.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
if we could keep it under $2,000, I think that might be worth it to one-off. But that's, again,
Well, our current graphics might be closer to $2,000 right now, too.
you're
So,
absolutely right.
I mean, I guess that's what we don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's the big.
Well, let me, and I'm looking, I like the concept of what you presented to us before. And my thought is, if you go back to the people and say, look, our village is willing to spend $2,000, we do it. I mean, if that's a number that's livable. You said that your number was there from 2019?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know prices have gone up.
Yep.
I mean, the worst they can do is say no.
I mean,
Especially last year.
It seems very odd, because the material itself is the
It's the
same
same,
cut.
correct.
It's
Yeah.
literally just them printing it.
Yep.
So,
Me and Sergeant Morosco actually had that
yeah,
conversation.
I mean,
Yep.
Well, what's other council's comments? I don't have a problem going out and having them take a look at, I'd like to find out what current pricing is going to be and compare it, and if it's a couple $100 more, go for it.
That's the
My
biggest thing,
opinion,
is
but-
what the current
Yep.
price is.
Yeah, obviously, we're going to be spending more than what the
Right.
1,500, the 2019 pricing.
Right.
So at that point,
There might be no difference.
I know you don't have a whole lot of time, but
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It was an idea I had, and I get it. I saw something that really neat, and then I saw the Detroit skyline on the Detroit's cars. I thought, well, that's kind of cool, but what's Wolverine Lakes? Well, it's our lake. And I thought, man, if we get, John McGee takes great sunset photos. I like to take the sunrise photos, and between the two, I thought one of us, so I came up with a couple of good ones that we had, large JPEG, and I said, what can you do with this? And this is what they come up with.
Yeah.
Tweaked it a couple of times and changed some lettering and removed the old patch that was on the side. It just didn't look right, but I thought that looked pretty good. And I thought, well, on a black vehicle, that orange on the back, I thought it was neat. But when they told me the price, me and Mr. Gillen both about had heart attacks, and so that's probably not a good idea. But I know that sometimes the council likes to have some more input on stuff like this. This is, this is what people like to look at. I mean, they see our stuff. We're around all the time, so. I said I would mention it because I didn't want people surprised when we did come back with it. I didn't want people to say, well, why didn't you tell us about it? So that's what I'm doing. I'm pretty much telling you. This is what we got, and I'm in kind of a...
Well, like I said, my opinion is it'd be nice to find out where we're at on the regular graphics, and if it's a couple $100 more or something like that. I don't think it's a problem going this. I mean, I think it would look nice.
Can she give you the 2022 price relatively quickly for the old graphics?
I'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So...
Well, what?
Can I make a motion?
I would say so.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we have the chief go back to the people at $2,050 if they'll do the job. Okay? And that's my motion. With the skyline that he has and the graphics, we know the price from 2019 has gone up. I mean, the worst they can do is say no to them. That's my motion. Or even look for other competitive numbers too. I mean, if that's the case.
You could authorize up to that amount.
I was going to say something less than $2,500.
Well, whatever vendor
I'll do my due diligence to find something that's going to work for all of us, so I will do what I can.
So yeah, I would say bring your motion up to authorize up to 2,500 with the discretion, because again, you don't know if that's the price you're going to come up with.
But again, David and he...
2,100 now.
But the issue is the timeline. We don't have enough time.
That's what I'm saying.
To get done and then vote on it at the next meeting. So
Let me backstep my motion, okay, and say $2,100 if they'll do the job with the skyline and the graphics. I mean, present that to them, and they can say yes or they can say no.
But the problem is the old graphics
Could be that.
might be 2,100 now.
that's the
Well,
issue.
we don't know that, but, so
Well,
let's
that's
throw
fine.
something at them.
Well, that's why if you allow him to make that informed decision and set the limit at
Yeah,
2,500.
it's at the up to 25, and we tried to have him go in
And I
at
would
There's no way that-
2050.
All right, so I'll bring my motion back and say up to 2,500.
There we go.
I'll second that.
I think we have consensus on council with that one.
There you go.
Well, I was trying to get it down, I mean.
I think the chief's going to try to get it down.
Nothing to lose.
I just got the quote, and I was a little perplexed by that, because to me, you're right.
Yeah,
graphics
it's
are
the same
graphics.
material. It's just a matter of what they print it with, right?
Well, so therefore, we might be perplexed with what we get for the old ones.
And
So that's
true.
why
Like I
I'm
said,
saying,
It was nearly $1,000 difference, and I just thought, well, and that was 2009, so that would have been 3 years.
3 years ago, and
So
you look at
you
the
know that
last
everything
year,
went up.
look at the last year, what things have done, for the last 6 months.
Everything's crazy.
Trying to make decisions without all the information.
Yeah.
Really what's happening right now.
Yeah, so I think
This is the
that's,
last vehicle we're gonna buy either, so
No.
if this...
I think that's the right motion, if we authorize up to $2,500. So that's
Almost all petroleum-based
That's Mr.
products are
Malik's
double.
motion, and that was Mr. Duff's second.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go get them, John. Any other discussion? Roll call vote on that one.
Just to clarify, Mr. President, the motion is to spend up to $2,500 for graphics on the new police vehicle, is that correct?
That would be correct.
As presented by Chief Ellsworth.
Thank you.
At the chief's and administrator's discretion.
Alec,
I'm sorry.
we're doing roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. I'm
He's still thinking about graphics.
Yeah, right. You weren't supposed to call me first.
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Nedra?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
Anything else, chief?
No, believe me.
Thank you.
I'm so done. Thank you.
Okay, a treasurer update from Mr. Conduct or Ms. Hanson, whoever's going to take the rails.
Well, we're going to be sending out the tax bills on June 30th. We're finishing up the last items with Oakland County to wrap that process up. And that's really all that's going on in our department now. Thank you for all the motions for approving your stuff.
Thank you. Update from Administrator Gillum.
A couple miscellaneous items. We already talked about the closure of Nantucket Beach. We already talked a little bit about the road program tonight. Starting after the 4th of July, some of us may be getting people knocking at our doors. Oakland County has let us know, Animal Control, they're going to be starting their annual dog census. So if there is somebody knocking at the door trying to find out if you have a dog, and if you do have a dog, to make sure that you have a license for the dog. They will be driving marked county vehicles. They will be wearing county clothing, something identifying themselves as a county employee, and they will have county identification with them. So, again, to the extent you can, we encourage all the residents to cooperate with them. So that'll be starting after July 4th. I think the 5th is the first day that they'll be out. So. We started training with new weed harvester operators this morning, so they'll be back out on the lake starting tomorrow. So you can expect to see the harvester out in the mornings. And just a reminder to the residents that we do the harvesting based upon recommendations that we get from our lake consultant as to where the weeds are growing and where they need to be harvested. If you feel that the weeds in your part of the lake are a problem, please call us or send me an email. We'll pass that information along to the consultant for them to take into their discussion. But just because, with all due respect, just because you feel that the weeds in front of your property need to be cut, they may not need to be cut. But again, we'll do the best we can. If you think there's an issue, let us know, and we'll route that information through the channels. But the harvester has been running well, and it will be back on the lake.
Great.
And then as the chief mentioned, this is the last meeting we're going to have before Tiki Night, before the 4th of July holiday. Tiki candles are back in supply. They're back in stock. I think it looks like the usual suspects that are going to be responsible for selling the candles. So there's information on the on the village website as to who to contact in your part of the community. And again, as we discussed at a council meeting earlier this year, the candles will be $5 each. So
No?
yes,
Yep.
$5. Yeah, 'cause
I got a sheet that says $5.25.
well,
That's $5.
yeah, it's $5 because we discussed it at a prior meeting.
Five on the flyer.
Yeah.
4 for 20.
Huh?
4 for 20, like
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
They're trying to-
Okay, well, Pam delivered them yesterday.
I know.
Gave me a breakdown sheet.
Well,
Okay, somebody better contact her.
we'll follow up with Ms. Kaznecki and everybody else, but yeah, per council's decision, and I think it's a logical decision. $5, that way we're not.
No, that's
gonna
fine.
change.
Again, I'm
Because it was
just
$5.19,
delivered them
I think, is what
yesterday.
they were charging for the candles.
Yeah, it's
So
$5.25.
instead of trying to get a quarter out of it, it was just easier to round down to $5.
$5, yeah, so, but.
So if I get the extra quarter, I'll throw it in the onward and upward.
The bottom line is the tiki
It says
candles.
5 on the flyer, so you'd have a lot of irate people trying to,
You know what?
Bob's trying to charge them 5 1/4.
There was a flyer in the envelope.
Yeah, I know.
And she
yeah.
does a printout on the envelope, okay?
Right.
And that's, so if you're selling 6 of them,
Yep.
you don't have to take your shoes and socks off to count.
Well, I'm just trying to save your skin, because if
No,
you start charging people 5 1/4, you're gonna have irate citizens.
I can imagine.
You'll have the chief knocking on your door, charging $5 1/4, so. And then just one other quick update for council's benefit. At our last meeting, you had approved an agreement for new phone systems with AT&T. We ran into a snag with AT&T. I'm not going to go into all the details. If you are curious and you want to hear the whole sad story, talk to me after the meeting or give me a call or something like that. But I think as of today, we identified a different vendor, and if anything, the cost will be slightly lower for comparable phone service. So we will get that squared away before our current service gets cut off at the end of the month. So, and then, again, 4th of July coming up, everybody be safe. Be smart. Have a good holiday. Have a good tiki night.
Thank you. Council comments. Let's go, Jeremy, start with you.
First Tuesdays in the park, coming up next Tuesday, and hope to see everybody out there. And welcome back to Officer Skotsky, and hope everybody has a safe and happy 3rd and 4th of July.
Okay, Mr. McNutt.
The lake rally's this Saturday. That's going on, and then they have a great safety night.
Bill?
Hope everybody has a very safe and happy 4th of July with their families. I'd like to welcome Gabe to the Parks and Rec, and Patrick to our zoning board, and welcome back Officer Skotsky to our police department. Great addition.
Mr. Duff?
Hope everybody has a good holiday. Welcome back, Officer Skotsky, and welcome.
Bob?
Okay. Thanks for joining the board. We appreciate it. Our officer who isn't here, thank you. And I have a question, John. I don't know for sure the ordinance in the village, but summer's here, and I've had 4 different people in the last 10 days knocking on my door. We're selling windows, we're doing this in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we've got some complaints as well.
Okay.
They must register with the village if they're selling anything.
Call the 1335 number?
Yep, 1335, or you can call the office and see if anybody's registered.
Okay.
You will have some water and environmental folks coming around,
Right.
as well as Latter-day Saints. I think have registered a group of people. Oh, okay, so they have a group of religious folks do not need permits, and the environmental folks have obtained their information.
Just wanted to make sure, 'cause like I say,
And if you call...
already had them start.
Yep, no, myself and Officer Dennis dealt with them, it must have been Monday already this week or so. They had permits from Wall Lake, they were on Elmsford. Elmsford's not technically in Wall Lake, so
Right.
shoved them back across South County.
Well, I knew they have to register, and I've asked them, oh, you have to register. Oh, yeah, we did. I said, well, where'd you go? So, at that
See the
point.
permit.
Yeah, they actually do have a permit that we do issue.
Well, I don't know, but, okay, let's say there's 3 people for a group. Does each one get one?
Yeah,
Or
they all have-
all right, well,
anybody that's out there has to-
then I will know to ask. That's fine. Thank you.
The group, they have to identify the individuals and everybody in the group.
Yeah. Well, this guy was on his little 2-wheeler, with his clipboard, riding it. I says, wait a minute. But other than that, everybody enjoy your holiday and stay safe.
Okay. And as far as I'm concerned, everybody have a very good, safe tiki night. Had a good turnout at the golf outing last weekend for the fundraiser. Mark, I know you were working it, and the long, grueling 3.5 hour, 4 hour, nine holes over at Bay Point, but we all survived. And the only other thing I had tonight was the fact that appreciate budget work that Mike put in and Jennifer. And with the budget, we ended up, we had a lot of federal money this year, and spent a lot of money on a lot of things. And police ended up getting a lot of new boat, new vehicle, and we wanted to get a Lamborghini, but we just couldn't afford it. I mean, just the federal money just wasn't there.
The graphics would cost too much.
Graphics would have been too much, yeah. We could have probably went with the old graphics, however. Maybe on a Lamborghini it would have looked okay. But anyways, so I think after the meeting, Christy and I went over to the casino last weekend, and she happened to hit for a pretty good sum. So we actually ended up, we got the chief a car he could take home every night.
There we go.
Sergeant, is it?
It's in the garage.
It's in the garage, and it's is it? Did it wipe all the water off and everything? Okay. So after council, I'd like to retire up to the police garage and see the chief's new take-home vehicle. So with that, like I said, have a good, safe tiki night, and we'll see you in July. So, motion adjourned.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Malik. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Is that car?